Good morning, Friday Huddle. Here we are. It's Friday, March 12th. Oh my gosh, just a couple more days left on the pre-launch for the Club Secret with the limited time offer. So we're going to talk about that today. That's on the top of mind for a lot of people, right? And we've got a couple of other key points that we're going to talk about and hit on today. So I want to welcome everybody. Thanks for taking the time Friday morning, carving it out of your schedule. If you're new, welcome to the crew. We get together like this on Fridays for a little, I like to share wins. I like to also find out what's been happening with everybody else. There's like, admit all. Come on, come in. I don't know if you can help me with that, Trish. I'm so clueless with this. I'm sorry, Ruth. There it goes. Thank you. So we're gonna hear from some key leaders today, which is super fun. And we're going to talk about probably a couple of other things. I wanted to just find out, oh my gosh, I thought I put it here, what you guys are thinking about this. Have you been using this? Those of you who got it? Anybody? You guys, not yet? Okay. I want to we get to
I'm
it.
sorry, Carrie. I couldn't understand.
You're sideways. Joe, you're sideways.
I'm sideways.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to see if anybody had a. There we go.
I'm not sideways here.
There you go. There you go. That's it.
Okay. Well, now I'm
Anybody have a
upside down.
testimony they want to share on this? I just really
I
want to
love it.
Fun. So who wants to share?
I have a question about it for those of you who've done energy drinks before. I've never done them. So like, should I not drink like my matcha green tea if I'm going to drink that? Because will I be too jittery?
I don't know.
What? I've been using it for the last 4 days, and my husband has tried it as well.
Okay.
And I've been playing with it. So this is what I have found with it. First day, mixed it in lukewarm, well, not just for room temperature water. Okay. And mixed it, did the 8 ounces, added that, drank it like that. And I found it had a bit of an aftertaste. Okay. So I thought it would be better with ice. So the next day I took the 8 ounces of water, added the energy, shook it up well, and then added my ice. Much better with the ice. Then I thought, okay, this is really good, but what if we add a bit of lemon? So I added the next day 8 ounces of water, the energy powder, a squirt of the lemon. Really nice. But now I was ticked there was only 8 ounces of it because I wanted it to last longer. So now I'm drinking it with double the amount, about 2 cups of water. I mix it, I add my lemon, and I sit and I sip it for 15 minutes.
2?
Yeah, no, just one.
Oh.
Just one in double the water.
Oh,
so it lasts longer because I enjoy it so much. I did do 2 in a row day before yesterday, and my husband was laughing. Like I wasn't jittery, but it was, yeah, I was good.
I'm with you, Kathy. I'm with you. I know what you're talking about. It's funny. We're not jittery, but we're getting stuff done, right? Leah, go ahead, Leah.
I am not like my mom at all. I am like, I just wanted it. I just pour water, throw it in, swig it back and see what happens. I'm more the results girl. I don't really care about the taste. And so you know what, it's great. You know, it's easy. I love that you can keep them in your purse. And so if you have a water bottle, you can pop it in there. People want fast, and that's what we have. Okay. So as soon as we start complicating and see, you need to add this, you need to add this, you need to add this, I think we're complicating this product. You want to keep it super simple. It's a very mild taste, but it's the results. It works within 10 minutes. And I tested it on a couple of different times. First thing in the morning, for me, it's lasting me like 6 hours, if not more. For my friend, it's lasting her only 3 hours, but she's an energy drink person. I'm not. And I love the even energy. and I tried it and I knew it lasted a long time because I tried it in later in the afternoon and I was like so tired that day. Normally I take my recovering greens and wait and I get good energy. And I thought, oh, I was so tired. I was literally dressed up in my workout clothes, going for a jog, and I was like literally going to go up to bed. And so I thought, oh, this is a perfect time to test the energy drink. Within 10 minutes, I could feel, I was like, oh, I'm going to go for the jog. But I felt the endurance on my jog. I really felt that. And so if people are looking for something, it's sustainable energy, my brain clarity, because, you know, I deal with brain fog on a regular basis. And so I felt like crisp, very crisp. And my brain was just, I felt like all the engines and all the gears were working together in sync. They weren't clunk, 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 clunking, right? So the benefits were so phenomenal, and everybody's going to have, for me, everyone's going to have a different, so I'm getting different people to try it. So if you have the ability to get some, you know, don't just use it all for you. I'm still using it sparingly for me because I want different testimonials. I want to know, and I'm creating like a list, a questionnaire. But how long did it take you to feel it? You know, how long did it last? Did you notice brain clarity? You know, did you notice extra endurance if you went to go work out? So you kind of have to plant those seeds before people try it so that they're looking for those and say, if you want to be my guinea pig, these are the questions I'm going to ask you. So rather than just give samples, I recommend just, you know what, have like a print sheet up ready with some questions or text it to them, you know, with this, some 5 simple questions. And what'd you think of the taste? You know, that everybody's different in that too. So if they don't like the taste, then you can give them, oh, well, you know, if you feel that way, maybe squeeze some lemon in it, boom, you know, or whatever the case may be. So that's just my take on it. Loving it. I think it's a product that you literally can build a business on that one product.
Standalone. Yeah. You know, no denying that $85 billion market. It's a standalone product. And I love your questions. I love,
I had my husband try it. He just likes it, just like Leah.
Straight up.
He does it. And both of us, like I'll describe it. It's like, if you take it in the afternoon, it's like a newborn day. It's like, it's like a newborn day.
It is. Oh
and
my
it
gosh.
is right. Very crisp. Very crisp.
I put it in my shaking greens the morning I took it. I don't think I took it the day I should have taken it because I had gone to bed at 2 and woken up at 7. And so I was a little bit jittery, but I kind of marked that up to that I didn't get enough sleep. So has anybody tried it when they didn't get enough sleep? But by midday, I was really, by 1 o'clock, I was okay, but I wasn't great in the morning. Just wondered.
Oh yeah, it works for me. It's amazing. I've tried it on all areas, hits me in 10 minutes, lasts on average 6 to 8 hours for me. So I have to be really careful in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I forgot to take my greens on Sunday and I took the energy shake, both of us energy shake. We took the drink at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which I was like, oh my gosh, this is really bad. I should not do this at 3 because I won't even do greens at 3. It's too late for me. I'm just too, you know how I am. So I did it though. We were up until after almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. But boy, did we get a lot done, both of it. And we had the best time. And the mental clarity was crazy. We got work and play done. It was a lot of fun. So I've also done what you did, Leah, shared it with a couple of people to get different feedback this week. And I love your questions. I think that's an excellent way for us to keep track. And then we create our testimonies with that, right? Anybody else want to share real quick before I toss this to some real important information?
Could Leah repeat the questions, please?
How long?
Yeah. So I want to, first of all, I want to know what they thought of the taste. Second of all, I want to know how soon they felt, if they felt energy and how soon. I want to know how long the energy that they last, if they noticed any mental clarity as well. And then what was the 5th one? Endurance. So if they're going to work out, if they go to work out, if they notice any advancements in their workout where they felt like they can, for me, it was jogging. And I felt like I was just so much easier, like it was. And I was excited about that. So those are the 5.
Great questions. Great questions. Excellent.
I was just going to add one thing.
Yes, Mike.
Yeah, there was a company I was involved with years ago, and how we built that business was giving away bottles of product. And those bottles at the cheapest rate were $28 a bottle. And the more we gave out, the faster our team grew, both in customers and in agents, because people had a chance to get a result. So what I think might be a smart idea for us all to think about is, obviously businesses have costs, and we're all in business for ourselves, so it becomes a deduction off of our ordinary income. However, what you may want to do is order, when we can order them as much as we want, you might want to order a pack for yourself and a pack to give away. Not the whole pack, but sachets. I did that the other day in the gym. And I came back the following day and I said, hey, what'd you like about the energy drink? They're like, man, I loved it. I've worked out, my workout was really good, or I didn't get jittery when I usually do with coffee, or you know what, it actually tasted really good. And I liked that it was low calorie, because a lot of those energy drinks, guys, are really high calorie and they're loaded with garbage, and there's just nothing like what we have. So what I'm deciding to do, you can choose to do it or not, is I'm going to actually get 2 bags for myself every month and 2 bags to give away. And think about how many, that's 40 people you could be sampling on a regular basis. And it's such an easy conversation. Hey, do you ever use energy drinks or coffee to kind of keep your day going? Yeah, I do. Hey, try this out. Let me get your information and I'll call you back. Let me know how it feels for you. And I think that we could generate a lot of customers. And I really do think that we're going to find, especially the younger generation of people who, they live on energy drinks. I mean, you know who they are.
Crazy.
They live on them. And I mean, they're just so toxic.
They're strokes in a can. They're a stroke in a can. That's what we call
No question about it. I think we're going to find, even my girlfriend's son, 23, he's like, I could sell those to all my friends. They all drink. He's 23. So, I mean, you have to think about that when, this is a product that we don't have to talk a lot about, but we want people to get a result. And we've always done that with recovery. Carrie, you and I know that we passed out recovery like it was Pez.
Yep. Still
and
do.
we build huge customers and huge teams. And I think we can do the same thing with the energy guys drinks. I really do.
Yeah.
But think about it from a business aspect, 1 pack for yourself every month and at least 1 to give away. And you're going to turn customers and you're going to find agents for sure.
You will. Agreed. And one note to that too, when you said your girlfriend's son, first thing I thought of was everybody my age that I know of who has kids in their 20s, hello, like we do. And I called them, and they're the ones that are athletic. Like I have a friend in Southern Cal, she lives in Dana Point. She used to coach soccer, and her kids went to Pepperdine on the track, and she loved the recovery because of the shin splints, right? So the recovery helped her with that. First thing I called her was like, oh my gosh, Cindy, you've got it. I know your kids are probably drinking this stuff. You know how bad it is, because she's a health nut. She called me right back. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was thrilled. And I'm just sharing that one with you because it was just because from my heart, I knew what those were doing and how many kids are drinking them. If you go into a convenience store at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon or anytime after school gets out, that's all you see with everybody lined up at a C-store. If you're getting gas or whatever, they're lined up with the Red Bull, the Monster, the garbage, and I just know in my heart, this, where I'm coming from, this is a great solution for so many people with the 0 sugar. And everybody I've seen this week, I've sampled out and everybody is thrilled. Today, the lady's trying it, just like you said, Leah, with the recovery and the energy drink before her workout and after. So I'm excited to hear her testimony today.
Very cool.
Yesterday, Jeff worked on me. He does my body work. I gave him one and his apprentice one, and I got a yay and a nay, but Jeff said, I'll order a box right away. He doesn't know they come in a bag, whatever. He's like, I'll order that. He loved it,
Awesome.
And conversely, the 22-year-old who works with him is a sugar head, unfortunately. And he was like, he didn't like the taste. So there you go. But yesterday, one of the gals, or Wednesday, on the Sea Life Wellness page, the gals were talking about, Carla and Heather were talking about making their drinks differently, like you were, Kathy, and maybe incorporating a sparkling water with it and sipping on it, adding ice and sipping on it all day for that sustained energy is another idea for people who may be funny with the flavor. Just add another beverage into it. I put mine in my shake the other day and it was just fine. You can make it more and more water with like a tea and drink it that way too, or add it to a tea that you're already drinking. Hello. So those are the fun things that we've come across with the first few days of this
Awesome.
product. Anybody else want to share before I toss it over to Ben, the master?
I didn't even taste it in with my shaken greens. That's a great way to do it.
Yeah, you don't even taste it. And not that it's bad, but okay. So we've got some great stuff from this amazing gentleman, Ben Bradshaw. He's been huddled up with Jesse. They've got some good formulas and good stuff they want to share with us. And the thing about a huddle is everybody's got something of value to bring. And I need to zip it and send it over to you, Benjamin, so we can find out the good nuggets you're going to share with us today. Thanks. Take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for calling me by my government name. So funny. My mom used to call me that. But I appreciate that. And Jesse had asked me to just touch on some stuff for today. And I know he's traveling. Muzaffar is at the dentist. Gosh, I hope he's feeling better. But I kind of heard the story behind the story on what happened with his tooth, and I've had some challenges over the years myself. So I don't know if anyone, have you guys ever talked to someone that's going to the dentist and it actually gives you some trauma from like a past experience, and you're just like, oh man, like better you than me. Like you don't say that, but that's what I was thinking, just because it brought me back to that time, that time, right? There's been a few, but yeah, so I hope he's doing well. And so I appreciate the time with you guys here today. I'm actually dialed in from my car. There's my golf clubs. Wish that I was using them today, but I wanted to touch just on some stuff that I've been working on, and obviously I think can help. I know this is a huddle call for brand new people and for veterans as well. So obviously I appreciate the veterans, and you guys can definitely relate to some of the stuff I'm going to go over. But the brand new people that are on here, I want to just say congratulations and definitely welcome for being a part of this. A daily Zoom, really just to kind of help raise your level of knowledge and help you with sort of the how-tos and the why-tos, right? So every day is a different topic, and obviously I wish we had more time with you guys. But for me, when I got involved in this wonderful profession of relationship marketing, network marketing, multi-level marketing, right? Like, actually, it's funny. Someone asked me the other day, "Is this multi-level marketing?" And I was like, "Yeah, like single-level marketing is not very smart anymore, right?" So anyway, I just kind of try to have fun and mess with people, and I always laugh at me. I laugh with me. You guys feel free to do the same. I don't care which one it is. But I hope that you have a good time and doing relationship marketing in secret, because obviously I want you to have a good time doing whatever you're doing, right? And but I want to talk a little bit about activity. It's my favorite two words within relationship marketing, because there's two. Unfortunately, there's a misconception in this profession. People they feel like they're being productive, but they're actually being busy. Lee and I were talking a little bit about this earlier before this call, and because sometimes we feel like we're doing secret, although we're on a Zoom, we're on a training, we're in our back office. We're doing things to sharpen our axe, but unfortunately, they don't necessarily yield results, right? And so it's tough, because sometimes we have spouses that or significant others. If you have both, don't consult me, because I'm not the one to help you with that. You need probably a professional therapist to help you how to work on that. But or if that's your thing, awesome, more power to you. But for me, it's sometimes we have a spouse or significant other that we want them to root for us, like go team go, right? Because they're part of the reasons why we're doing this. And sometimes we need to just do it in spite of them, although we're doing it for them as well. And maybe it's not your first go around in relationship marketing. It's not mine either, but which is fine, right? But sometimes they can be the most negative people, right? But they see us taking this time away from our family, our work, if we have a job, or we have other responsibilities, right? Most of us do. And so they see us taking this time away on these huddle calls, on the Zoom, on a training, messing around with our back office, and they see us necessarily spending time, not investing it. Right? There's a difference, and we're not necessarily bringing home the bacon, yet, right? But we're investing time to sharpen our axe, but we're not necessarily swinging to chop down the tree. And so, we're not getting the results. Sometimes it can create resentment, right? Because at the end of the day, we're not getting those weekly paychecks yet. And so we're wondering to ourselves, and our families and our friends are like, hey, is that secret thing working for you yet, right? How's that get rich quick scheme, right? And it's like, well, how's your get rich slow scheme, right? We don't say these things, or at least don't, because you want to attract people to you, not repel them away from you, right? Like I had, my dad, for example, right? Like, it was like 30 days in network marketing, and he's like, you rich yet? And I'm like, Dad, you've been in construction for 40 years and you ain't rich yet, Like I didn't say that because he's my dad and there's a respect level. But obviously, like these are the things we want to say to our people that we love, although they're not necessarily supporting us. But we also have these misconceptions that we're doing secret, and yes, we need to sharpen our axes to cut down the trees. And follow me here because I'm going somewhere. But we're not necessarily doing the income producing activity. I call them IPAs, right? Mike, you probably know about other IPAs as well. I do too. I love those IPAs. But today we're going to focus on the IPAs, or income producing activities. Okay, not the IPAs that you can get at these restaurants that are surrounding me. Although hopefully we'll have plenty of those through Club Secret when we're traveling the world together. And so what can we do to increase our activity, to increase our results, right? Because you can't increase results without increasing activity. It would be a misconceived, or I'm sorry, it would be a challenge, right? To expect to have results without first working on us internally, but then working on our business externally, meaning doing the activity. And so, I was always, and I'm kind of old school network marketing, right? Where it was like, get excited, make a list, and then do the deal, right? Well, what's the deal? The deal is whatever you decide it is, because all we do in the deal is share the plan and collect decisions, right? Share the plan, collect decisions. Now, I know that most people, meaning 98%, that's why I say most, will never do anything the first time you actually ask them to, join the company, right? Whether it's, whether it's, being a customer, being a distributor, people hate to be sold. They love to buy, but they hate to be sold, right? Why? Because we're being marketed to by everything under the sun. Some of us think the Patriot Act was just designed to keep us safe. No, it was designed to also allow people to collect your information and then market stuff to you, whether consciously or subconsciously. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Right? I was taking notes on Jesse's training the other day, right? Where he's like asking a question he already knows the answer to. So, all we're doing is sharing the plan, collecting decisions. Here's the challenge. We as human beings, we're emotional, right? Some of us more than others. I won't go into that. That's a whole separate training that I'm not qualified to give, right? But yes or yes thing, yeah, Jenny, I hear that. And so, so now if 98% of people don't actually make a buying decision the first time we present information, well, how do we get them to make a buying decision? I would venture to say it's by literally just being their friend, right? Now, exposure is everything, but fortune is in the immediate and long-term follow-up, okay? I touched on this on the training the other day with Leah's group, and I always talk about this thing called an IQ level. Now, most people think it's about, your IQ is how smart you are. No, yes, right? But in this relationship marketing industry or profession, I refer it to you and I as our quit level. What is your IQ level? Meaning, like, what's it going to take to knock you out of the game? Because we know if 98% of people don't do anything the first time, and that it takes about 5 through 12 exposures to convert 80% of people and to make a buying decision, whether it being customer or distributor, right? Well, fortune is not just in the exposure, but it's in the immediate and long-term follow-up. So saying that, right, what is it going to take for the IQ level in order for them to join your team, or as I would say, join someone else's team, meaning as their customer or as their distributor? Make sense? Then the fortune's in the follow-up. So how do we remove our emotional selves from being upset or, not being in love with the result of them not joining on the first time? Because we know we have this home run, right? We got Club Secret. I'm down for some Club Secret, right? Now, obviously, it's in the pre-launch phase. And just like anything that's pre-launch, as Leah and I were talking, it's not 100% just yet. But it will be. Now, the challenge for most people, unfortunately, is, as Helen Keller says, I'd rather have, vision without sight than sight without vision, right? And, so it's going to take a little forward thinking for us in order to necessarily sell something that's not 100% yet, right? Well, the good news is we can't actually sign customers up yet. So you don't have to worry about that right now. Okay. So people are like, what's Club Secret? I'm like, oh, it's the best club. They're like, how's it work? I'm like, pretty well. Right. They're like, well, what's all the detail? Oh, there you go, Jan. I got you, girl. So, but they're like, well, and same thing with the comp plan. People are like, oh, you were in secret for like 5 years or 6 years, and now you're back. And how's the comp plan work? I'm like, oh, it works amazing. They don't need to know like it's a 2/3, 1/3 binary, and you got to get this person like jump through hoops and wrestle a Bengal tiger and punch a Somalian pirate to get a check. And like, guys, like sometimes we're saying too much, and the challenge is when we're saying too much, we're actually crippling. Our prospects, if you will get analysis by paralysis, right? Because we know a confused mind will do nothing but shut down. Yes or yes, right? How many of you guys are confused on the compensation plan? I helped design some of it. I'm still confused. Oh man, you should have saw those early meetings, right? Back in the day, people say don't want what you don't want, right? Like everyone wants to be at the beginning of something until they have to be at the beginning of something. Like secret now, I'm like, man, this is simple. It's not easy, but nothing's easy, right? Like it's not easy for me to walk into this restaurant after we get off the Zoom and eat off of the organic plant-based menu. And guess what? I'm not going to, right? Why? Because I want a burger today. Does that make sense? But the smart thing to do would be to make the right decision to eat healthy. The smart decision would be make the right decision to, go out and pique the interest of 5 new people today, or 10, 15, or 20. I would venture to say if you sent out 12 to 20 text messages right now saying, OMG, call me ASAP with a smiley face, that you would have people coming to you, and then you wouldn't be hunting your prospects, right? Because whenever you hunt something, what does that mean? That means they're running away. Why? Because you're shooting at them. But if you're getting them to come to you, that means you're fishing and you're reeling them in. But why? Because you have the bait. What's the bait? The bait is whatever you say it is. That's going to get them to see information to get them to the next exposure. Why? Because there's a 2% chance they're going to sign up to do anything today, right? And that's just the law of sales. That's not secret. That's not even Amway, right? Like that's life, okay? So how do we get them to the next step? We need to pique their interest, right? Let a third party do the presentation and then pass them on to someone that they don't know. Because our friends, family, and neighbors, they love us, right? Some of my neighbors love me, but but they don't necessarily respect us for business. Because I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't really a skincare guy. Like, yeah, we made 7 figures in this company just marketing skincare, and I didn't know anything about skincare. They're like, you're a dude, and I'm like, I know, because it's the truth. Like I had a buddy of mine, he was like, what are you gonna be, like the Avon lady? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, maybe. Ha ha ha. But wouldn't it be cool to be the first Avon lady? And he's like, yeah, you got a point. Now, he's not a distributor or agent with us in secret, but he's a customer. And he's the biggest, burliest guy you would think that uses the mud mask. Do you think I know anything about the mud mask to teach him about the mud mask? That would be weird. We're two dudes, right? But I didn't try to sell him on that, you know? I just made a funny. I laughed at myself. I'm having fun. And he made the decision. Was it the first time that he saw the information? Absolutely not. It was probably the 50th time he saw the information. But the only way you get off my list is if one of us dies. Ha ha ha. Who's going to outlive who? I hope we both live, right? So, but at the end of the day, guys, I try to make this funny because it is fun. You know, it's fun if you're having fun. Sometimes, again, we get this anxiety because we get that analysis by paralysis because we're literally, or paralysis by analysis. I don't even have to say it right. But the truth is you get it, right? You get the point because we're saying too much. You know, we're spending 100 minutes with one person and we're wondering why they're not joining our team or, you know, our customer base instead of spending 1 minute with 100 people looking for the people that are looking for us. You guys got that? Look for the lookers. Guys, you know, there's apparently some stimulus check that's coming out. I don't even know if I don't qualify for it. So, you know, I'm glad people get it, but I think they're really mortgaging their future. You know, not to get political, I respect your political decisions. They're just not mine. So whatever, right? But there's a time for us to seek to understand other people versus being understood from them for ourselves, right? You know, but that's not really going to do too much. I hope people use that and invest in, you know, getting a business like Secret that can pay them versus spending on the material things that'll cost them, you know. But if there wasn't a better time to start piquing people's interest and, you know, teaching them, or really not even teaching them, just giving them information about what we do and letting them make decisions. Share the plan, collect decisions. Share the plan, collect decisions, right? You want to make $500 a month, you know, part-time on the side in Secret? Awesome. It's pretty simple to do. 2 exposures a day. Show up, you know, be consistent, be persistent, right? If you're consistent, you'll get it. If you're persistent, you'll keep it, right? And, you know, do it for 12 months. Commitment. I know commitment nowadays is one of the most challenging words that's in the dictionary because people are committed when it feels good, you know, but when it comes down to actually doing it, people aren't very committed, you know. And so committed to doing it. Show up long enough to where the results will pay you while your activity may be costing you right now, okay? And so, you know, most people, they don't show up long enough to actually reap the benefits of their activity because life gets in the way, right? Distractions. We all have them. I'm doing this Zoom right now from a parking lot and people are driving around me thinking I'm weird because I'm talking to my computer, right? Which is okay. I hope they stop to ask me what I do so I can expose them to what we do, you know, and then laugh about it. But if I drove home to do this actual Zoom, well, guess what would happen? I'd have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old that are crazy. Don't feel sorry for me. I created me. Okay. I should have named them both Karma 1, Karma 2, right? Like George, you know, named all of his children after him, you know. And but I couldn't do it at home. Why? Because as much as I love them, they're a distraction. Right? There's virtual learning going on at home. I probably actually there probably is not the word. I absolutely have a honey-do list at home that will have to start as soon as I get home. Right? Anybody else have those? Honey can be male or female, by the way. So we all have stuff. But the reason why I'm distracting myself from those distractions because I know they'll be home when I get there. And you know what? Sometimes we got to focus on the things that are going to pay us instead of what's going to cost us. Does that make sense? Some of us have chores, right? Like the grass ain't going to cut itself, you know? So I love cutting my grass because I know it's an hour and a half once a week. Thankfully, I haven't had to start that yet. But you know, if I don't do it at times around the clock that are aside from when I can do activity, well, guess what? It's going to cost me. It's going to cost me, you know, monetarily $100 to pay someone to do it. I don't mind doing that either. I love cutting my grass because I listen to personal development for that hour, hour and a half. So I know that that's a discipline that I set up years ago, right? So I know that that's me literally sharpening the axe to go out and swing it. But guess what? It's not paying me. Again, it's costing me. Does it have to be done? For sure, it has to be done. Because if I don't do it, it's going to continue to compound and grow. Does that make sense? But I value my time at more than $100 an hour. So if I know that hour is going to cost me $100, guess what? It's building season. I need to pay someone else to do that right now because I got to value my time more than what it's actually going to cost me. Does that make sense? You guys follow me? So we have to distract ourselves from distractions, right? The stuff that we all have, and prioritize what we're doing. If we're serious in building a masterful, you know, high payoff business that's going to pay us years down the road. Okay. Daniel says tracking you. Appreciate that. All right, cool. So, you know, because again, we all have distractions. Some people say, I can't do things. I hate the word can't. Actually, my daughters that are 3 and 6, they don't even use the word can't. Why? Because that's not just something that we don't teach that, you know, right? We teach them that it's not a priority. Cameron can't even say the word priority right now, but guess what? She gets it. You guys follow me? And so, yeah, we all have stuff, but at the end of the day, we cannot let the reasons we're doing this business be the excuse that we're not. Does that make sense? So you can only do what you can do, but I challenge you to do more. You can do more than 2 exposures. Why? Because you can be efficient. You can go peak interest of, you know, 2 people online right now. Hey, did you get your stimulus check yet? The answer is going to be no. Right? So when they say no, that's when you say, oh my gosh, what are you going to do with it? Got any plans? Let them answer. Don't throw up on them. Okay. And then let them answer. And then what are they going to do? They're going to say, what are you going to do with it? Oh, I'm going to, you know, I got this, you know, side hustle. You wouldn't believe it if I told you. But yeah, it's like literally, I'm going to quote unquote invest. And it's just some high payoff stuff. I've been working with some successful people and, you know, I'm pumped. But yeah, that's awesome. Let's catch up soon. Click. Right? Well, guess what? Instead of you trying to convince them to do the same with you, I would hit them up later. Hey, sorry I had to run earlier, right? So busy. Oh my gosh. But listen, you want to know more about like making money with that investment? You want to learn more making money on that stimulus check? ... And then when they answer, guess what? Let them marinate. Don't hit them up right away. Give it a few minutes. Let them see the ... dots from your text message, right? But then delete it, right? Because you're fishing, you're reeling them in. All you're doing is creating curiosity. You're not hunting at them. See, the reason why most people are not getting results in anything is because they're shooting at their prospects and they're hunting them, and their prospects are running away. You guys follow me on that? So instead of hunting, fish. Just reel them in. Take them to the next exposure, right? And then when they say yes, the next step is, hey, all right, cool. Well, if I sent you a quick video that'll kind of outline some stuff by one of the, you know, top people that I'm fortunate to work with, when's the closest time to now you'd be able to view it? I don't just send them the video and the message because I want to track them. I want to narrow them down to a time, right? So, hey, if I were, because I'm not saying I'm going to send you information. Hey, if I were to send you, because the verbiage is important, right? Hey, if I were to send you just some quick information that, you know, to help you, you know, figure it out, right? By the way, I don't care if it's for you or not. Like, it's on you. you know, ha ha, right? When do you think you'd be able to view it? When do you think you'd be able to watch it, right? Because I want to narrow them down to a time, because I want to be able to hit them up right away. Because again, fortune is, you know, exposure is everything, but fortune is in the immediate and long-term follow-up. Okay. And then, you know, when they tell me that time, I'm still not sending them the video. Why? Because I don't want them to have it, see it, or, you know, take a look at just a couple seconds of it, not be able to have their full attention of it on it, and then, you know, make an uneducated decision on something they didn't even have the time to, you know, watch the whole thing. Does that make sense? Exactly, right? So I would say, all right, cool, because I want your eyes on it, your full attention. It's going to be pretty insane and you're not going to want to miss it, right? So then when they tell me that time, I'll put a reminder in my phone, right? Because now, you know, if they don't watch it, it's on them. But if you don't follow up, it's on you, right? Because fortune's in the immediate and long-term follow-up, okay? Sometimes our friends, family, and neighbors aren't doing things. We're not, you know, we're not sticking around to collect their decisions because we're not actually being professional with our business. It's more of a hobby, not a profession, right? So, you know, these hobbies will cost you. You know, the profession will pay you. Does that make sense? So if you treat it like a business, it's going to pay you as such. If you, you know, it'll actually pay you more longer down the road when you're not treating it as a business, as long as you treat it as a business on the front end. Okay. Now, if you treat it like a hobby, it would be a false expectation for it to pay you like a business down the road. You guys follow me on that, right? Okay, great. So, you know, because I know we're all down with some secret right now, right? Because we're emotional about it. We got this club secret. We got, you know, the best of the best, which we do. But at the end of the day, if we're not, you know, eager and, you know, willing and learning and doing the activity, right, then, you know, we can't expect to get massive results either. Okay. And so I just don't want you or your spouse to be pissed off if you're not getting results when you're actually not doing the stuff that's going to pay you. You're doing the stuff that's actually costing you. And, you know, you're saying, honey, we're going to get rich. And then you're on the huddle call every day and not actually showing anyone the plan. So you're not getting rich. You're actually getting poor, right? like, nah, you need to work more overtime, you know, hours at your job. Okay. So, and I'm, you know, I've always had the title as a coach because I'm just not the guy that's gonna, you know, tell you what you want to hear, right? There's many people that will do that. You know, I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear, not want to hear. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, cool. So, Leah raised her hand. Leah, you have something, please?
Can I just add something a little bit? Because thank you so much. Like there's so much value in there. I've taken a ton of notes here and want to go back and listen to how you drip on people. But one thing I started doing is I've been caught up in this training mode as well as a diamond leader, right? And so I'm like, okay, so I had to just, the questions I'm asking myself now, if I'm doing this full time, someone who's doing this part time, you know, being on 5, 6, 7 different trains a week, I'm sorry, that's now you have no time. So pick 1 or 2, you know, to be on, and then highlight the takeaway that you are going to use immediately in that week.
Yes.
Highlight the activity that you learned, that you resonate with, that you were going to use. So even just from this call, thank you so much. You know, lots of great, you know, one-liners and stuff, but by asking yourself, what was the takeaway that I'm going to implement this week? And then you might be okay for 2 weeks before your next train. I'm not saying don't get trained, because we need to consistently show up. It's like we just don't shower once, we shower every single day, you know, but still, you know, when you have to really look at your time, be honest with yourself. You're in this to make money. You're in this to change lives. We got it. But if we're all just getting, you know, the best trained people, a confused mind eventually does nothing. And you end up with a book of notes, and nothing is highlighted and you don't even know where you started. So get an activity. What am I going to use today, tomorrow, and the next day? And what am I going to implement and grow from there? So I guess that's all I needed to add, but thank you so much.
Amazing. Yeah, no, absolutely. So you're absolutely right. So for me, I have 2 books, right? I have one that is for notes. So I book in my day with personal development, right? Because our subconscious mind is open the most 2 times a day, when you wake up, when you go to sleep. And so most people, unfortunately, the first thing they do is they go to their Facebook page and they, they're still in bed and they read their news feed. And what is that? Is that positive or negative? Negative. So if you're starting your day with news or negativity from Facebook, most people in traffic talking about how much they hate their jobs, yada, 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 right? You can't expect to start your day and it to be positive when your subconscious mind, the first 20 minutes is open and you've fed it some crap, right? Because your mind is like your mind is like an ATM or a bank. Unfortunately, most of us are trying to make quality withdrawals without making better deposits. Does that make sense? And then the same thing happens before we go to bed, right? We're doing the same stuff, And a mentor that told me a long time ago, he would listen to personal development, and with his headphones in, going to sleep, because even though he was in a sleep, his subconscious mind was still awake. So he was feeding it with some good quality personal development. Leah, amazing stuff for sure. So now back to the activity, right? So I'm just asking people for the next few weeks. Most people don't have the distant vision to focus on this for 90 days. Although 90 days will give you a great amount of time to build a solid business if you pour into it, okay? Now, I'm not asking you to be full-time. I'm not asking you to be full-time, okay? I'm asking you to be full-time in your part-time, all right? So be 100% in whatever percent you can give to your business, okay? Right? And so just be all in, distract yourself from distractions. Make sense? And so, be married to doing the activity, divorce yourself from the results. No's are no's. They're going to be no's regardless of what you say. So say less to more people, right? People say, well, what video are you sending? And is it for customers or agents? I am always recruiting to sell, personally. Why? Now, I love customers. Customers are great. I think it's very simple to get a customer secret. Now, for me, I tend to scare the shit out of people not to join me in the business, because I'm talking about getting rich, getting wealthy, right? Why? Because too many people nowadays are struggling, and we all struggle. We all struggle. You show me someone that hasn't struggled, and I'll show you someone that's lying to you. Okay? Most people are just too proud or scared to be, transparent. Does that make sense? And so, yeah, I share struggles, but I sell the hell out of where we're going in the future, because the future has to be better than the past and present. Okay. And as long as you're fed up with your past and present and you're married to your future, then guess what? People will be scared not to join you. As long as you make the commitment, make a commitment for a year that no matter what happens, you're going to focus on the activity. You're going to let the results take care of themselves, and you're going to show up. You're going to show up in your very brief time every day, and you're going to do your exposures. And I don't care if, Joe Schmo down the street joins me or not. It's his timing, not mine. All I'm doing is throwing lines out in the water, and I'm reeling them in, reeling them in, reeling them in. How many lines do you have in the water? That's the real big challenge, right? Because, would you guys agree that, I rank people based on like cards. I'm flipping cards. Every deck of cards has 52 cards, but there's some jokers in there too, right? Would you guys agree with that? Now, how many of you guys would like to have what I consider an ace, which is Leah, a Mike, Carrie Joe? How many guys would like to have one of those guys or gals on your team? Raise your hand. You guys know I can see you, right? So if you would like to have an ace on your team, like a Leah, a Carrie Joe, or a Mike, right? But you got to go through the twos, Jenny says. Now they're out there. And here's the cool thing about it. They're looking. So how fast can you flip cards to get to them? Right? Because some of us get hung up on people that we think are aces, but they're not. The challenge with thinking that someone is an ace is because we label them an ace because of our preconceived misconceptions that, you know, they're happy, or they're you know, they have money, or they have, you know, this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? I know a lot of pissed off wealthy people because they have no time. I know a lot of pissed off people that have no money and have a lot of time. How many of us know people that have time and money together? I know very few people, right? 99% of them are in relationship marketing because it's really one of the only professions that you can get wealthy with people instead of just on top of them, right? And all you have to do is flip cards to find people that want to do it just like you. The issue is some people don't see it like we see it, and we get mad or upset, you know? Like, I love my dad, but guess what? He's been in construction for 40 years. I started talking to him about a business that he can become wealthy, that he doesn't have to use his hands, and he thinks it's a scam. And then he can talk me out of my dreams because of the way he was brought up and conditioned. I love my dad, but guess what? I love him to go do construction. He has to give himself permission, right? So we need to stop getting upset or hung up on the nose from the people that aren't giving themselves permission to look for a better way. It's not my job to make the decision for him. It's my job to throw the line in the water because he might be hungry for the bait. And if he's not, well, guess what? All I'm trying to do is collect more no's than anyone else and keep it moving on to the next yes. Because you can't avoid no's to get yeses. That's the challenge nowadays. Most people think like, oh my gosh, you know, they're, you know, like, wow, you know, for it, I gotta be, you know, I gotta get 10 no's, like 10 people. If I get 10 no's, that's gonna knock me out of the game. Again, what's your IQ level? Meaning, what's it gonna take to get you to say I quit? For me personally, I ain't got one. You wanna know why? How many guys wanna know why? Because do you see these amazing, beautiful people, right? Kylie, Cameron, and my wife, Lauren? Because the lifestyle that they deserve, to me, is worth more than the no's that I have to go through in order to provide it for them. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? My daughters have never seen daycare, right? Kylie's 6. She thinks she's 21. Those conversations, you know, I need more personal development. You know, and Cameron's never seen daycare. And so people say, yeah, the money is great, but money is a tool that can provide a better lifestyle for you, right? Whatever that lifestyle means, life is what you live and style is how you live it. How do you increase that quality? You get, you know, you get a lot of no's. You can't avoid the no's to get the yeses. You have to go through them because they're on the other side of your no's. The challenge that most of us have is that we have this stinking thinking because we're trying to convince people that are just going to be no's, and it's not about us, it's about them. How long are we going to stick around to get the yeses that come through the no's? Because you can't avoid the no's to get the yeses. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Right? So people say, well, what video do you use? I don't know, whatever video you use, right? Like all I'm doing is showing the plan and collecting decisions, right? I challenge you to go out and get 100 straight no's. I guarantee you can't do it.
Sometimes you feel like you got it though, like you've had 100, huh?
You can't have 100 consecutive no's. No way.
Just sometimes you feel that you've had it, but when you count, you have it.
Check this out, Carrie Jo. And you know, and thankfully I've had mentors that are just pretty insane, right? Like, you know, and you know, I don't claim to be the best, this, that, or the other. You know, just the way I grew up and the challenges, right? Like, you know, and struggles. my biggest why is to never put my children in daycare, right? Like my children, like, you know, and I'm not saying I'm rich, like, yeah, we've done well. And you know, but at the end of the day, like, my reasons to do this business are bigger than my excuses. Does that make sense? And anything that's a byproduct of, or anything other than my reasons are excuses. That's how I talk to myself. Now, we all have viable, you know, stuff. Everything is stuff. But if you're not getting your results, right, we need to sharpen our axe to chop down the tree, but we need to really inspect what we expect. Does that make sense? See, you gotta make the list, and all we're doing is putting some lines in the water and we're fishing, and that's it. Now, if we know 80% of people, right, or 97% of people don't do anything the first couple times you expose them to something, well, guess what? What's your IQ level? Are you just going to expose them 1 or 2 times knowing 97% don't do anything and not stick around long enough so other people are dripping on them with, you know, much more inferior opportunities than we have, but they're actually going to get the fish because you quit before you stuck around, right? So who's gonna outlast who? Does that make sense? So are your dreams bigger than your excuses? Right? My dream was to never allow my children to see daycare. Never allow my girls to be raised by someone that doesn't have mine or Lauren's values. And I'll be damned if I let someone talk me out of the dreams and vehicles that will provide them the ability, right, to not have to see daycare because someone who had my excuses, not my dream lifestyle, told me no, or it was a scam, or, you know, it wasn't for them. Okay, great. Next. Right? Love people, but do it from afar. Does that make sense? You know, I love everyone. It's just not the right time for them. So the challenge is whether or not we're going to actually make that list, go through it, inspect what we expect, stick around to that, you know, 5 through 12th exposure where we know 80% of people make a buying decision. Does that make sense? Knowing that they're either going to end up on your team or someone else's team. Who's going to outlast who? People say, what's your IQ level? What's your I quit level? I don't have one. Because Kylie, Cameron, and Lauren mean more to me than anything in the world. And why would I quit something that I know can deliver on their dream lifestyle just because if someone else told me a no, and I got to tuck my tail because boo-hoo, right? You guys follow me? What's your IQ level? I don't know your dreams and your reasons for doing the business. I just hope, pray, and wish that they're big enough than your excuses why you're not doing the business.
Absolutely. Brilliant nuggets, Ben.
Because
Brilliant.
yeah, thank you. Some people, you know, like, some people, they just like, they, you know, it's like, man, we haven't even started yet. We're phase 1 of Club Secret. Like, people say, what's Club Secret? I'm like, the best club in the world. Why? Because I have no idea what the details are on it. Right? Should I? Yeah, for sure. But I'm out, you know, flipping cards, trying to find aces. What's an ace? An ace is someone that is hungry for me. An ace isn't a specific, you know, occupation or, you know, background, yada, 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 right? Like people say, oh, well, this person that's rich is an ace. Well, guess what? I beg to differ. Because if they're not hungry, they're a 2 to me. They're a 3. They could be a drama queen. They could even be a jackass. Some of us know a lot of those, right? You know, we have kings too. Kings seem to know everything. For me, I want someone that is an ace, that's hungry. Because if they're hungry and they have a ridiculous IQ level, I can take them wherever they want to go. We just got to make sure their reasons to do the business are much higher than their excuses not to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because when they ask me what video are we sending and is it for customers or agents, I don't know. That's up to them. They have to decide if they want to be a customer or agent. Right?
Yeah.
That's it. You know, so I like to use the Jefferson Santos video personally. I think it's great. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know, if you couldn't go get 100 consecutive no's if you wanted to, especially now because people are looking. And they say, well, do you get them on a live Zoom or a short video? I don't know. Ask them what they need to see next to make an educated decision.
That's brilliant. And I appreciate you saying that because I used that yesterday with this gal. I was like, what's better for you, seeing someone live on a Zoom or, you know, letting me find that special time when you know you have the weekend and you have time and I'll shoot you the video and we'll talk right after that. What's going to work better for you? And she said the weekend, shoot me the recorded video.
That's it.
Now I'm not
Right.
wasting my time and waiting for something that's not going to happen. So it's brilliant to ask.
Yep. So I'll leave you guys with this. You know, fortune is in the immediate and long-term follow-up. And so what's your IQ level? What's it going to take, right? For someone to either knock you out of your dreams or, you know, you sponsor them to help them live theirs. I don't know. Every time I get a no, I look at a picture of Lauren, Cameron, and, you know, Kylie, because that just keeps me going. Gives me enough to get to my next no, to the next no, to the next no. That's going to lead me to the next yes. That could lead me to the next Mike, to the next Carrie Joe, right? To the next Leah. That's it. So with that being said, guys, it's 12 o'clock. Hopefully got some good nuggets. And, you know, this is recorded. So we'll upload it. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a great weekend and just keep flipping cards, divorce the results, and just marry the activity. That's all I got. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Ben. Good stuff.
Thanks,
Oh my
Ben.
gosh, couple of pages of notes there, guys, right? We'll be definitely watching this over and over again to catch those questions, those nuggets. As a quick reminder, we've just got until the 15th to close out Club Secret. It is, I'm not close out, but the pre-launch on Club Secret. That is for agents only, so it can be a recruiting tool. I would use the regular video that we have from Jefferson, for instance, if that's what you have, or get them on this live promotion we have tonight. We have tomorrow night, tonight's Tracy Zimmer, tomorrow night's Jay Bolin, Sunday night's Jesse, starts all over again Monday, again with the same roll up all the way through April 11th, I believe. These have been fun, professional, amazing presentations. And even with your connections on out of the country, your international connections, the ones that they have at noon Mountain Time are excellent for the NFR programs. You learn a lot about the NFR program just by being a fly on the wall, even if you're not inviting to that. If you don't know anybody in other countries, you will, as you start to expand your market, your network, you will find people in other countries that are hungry and you want to know about it. It pays to know about your opportunity. So plugging in when you can. I did that just driving yesterday. I was listening to it. I was on my way to my appointment. So it's not any extra time. It's net time, as Jesse teaches us, right? So those are effective tools. So remember, the end of the pre-launch ends on the 15th. That is the $50 opportunity for being a Club Secret. After the 15th, it goes to $65. It's not even eligible for customers until the 23rd when they unlaunch phase 2 in Vegas. And gosh, there's something else I think I'm forgetting, but that's all I can remember. If anybody has anything else to remind us on timeframes or anything, pipe in now, please. I think that's it.
May I ask a quick
Yeah.
question?
Mhm.
I mean, this might seem really trivial, but I called our support and they don't know.
Don't know what.
They don't know the answer to this, our support team. I was trying to change my password to Club Secret and I can't find the button or the link or the whatever that lets you change it. Does anybody know where that is? Our support team didn't know. They were going to ask.
We'll get back to you on that one. That's a good one. Yeah. Did Mike, did you have something else to add, or somebody did something?